If you see some good times, won't you send on my regards? I've taken every little number, but I still haven't gotten that far. I ain't saying I got the blues. Everything's just so doggone hard. It's too many streetcars passing, and I'm still at the end of this bar. If you feel some sunshine, go on and bottle it for me. I could use some comfort, Lord. Baby, I just need some sleep. I ain't saying I got the blues. I just been feeling kinda strange. Every target I've been aiming for seems to move right on out of range. Ooh, ooh, I ain't saying I got the blues. I got a $20 bill. Gonna buy some gasoline and get on out of here.
Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee is rich in music heritage, whether it be bluegrass, country, folk, blues, Americana, or rock and roll. This area has a diverse group of talented musicians. Let's get to know some of the area's top musicians and new rising stars.
Hi.
We're here in Bristol, Tennessee.
Virginia, actually.
Oh, Virginia, actually, yeah.
We're on the Virginia side.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
I get very confused myself.
We're in this lovely neighborhood. And you're originally from the Pines in North Carolina.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Tell us about your area where you're from.
So the area where I'm from, is about an hour and a half south of Raleigh, North Carolina. And the area is called the Pines, or the Sand Hills. And it's kind of its own geological wonder, I guess. It's where the sea originally met the coast of North Carolina. So there's a lot of pine trees there. There's also a very small mountain chain called the Uwharrie Mountains. But my family has lived there for 220 years. So it's a place. I'm from a town called Carthage. It's a historical town. It was well known for producing buggies. Back in the day, they were I think the number one buggy producer, I know, in the southeast, if not in the country. So yeah, that's where I'm from. That's where I grew up.
So why did you come to the Tri-Cities?
So I have always been fascinated with the mountains, and enjoyed being outside and all those things and spending time in nature. And I went to school just outside of Asheville, at Warren Moulton in Swannanoa, and got sort of into old time music there. Played some old time fiddle and took some ballad singing classes and guitar and all that stuff. So the mountain music, I guess, is kind of really what has brought me here more than anything, and the interest and the history of mountain music and country music. And of course, Bristol is the birthplace of country music. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've just kind of followed the musical trail through the mountains to this place, and feel like it's a lot easier here for me to do work than in some place that's more populated, like Asheville, or a place that has, I don't know, a lot of tourism or whatever. Not that Bristol doesn't have tourism, and it shouldn't, but yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Do you have a big family, a lot of brothers and sisters growing up?
So there's 4 of us, and both of my parents were married before. Typical baby boomer, modern family, as I like to call it. So both my parents were married before and then got married and had me. So there's 10 years between me and my closest sibling. But I have 2 sisters and a brother, and none of them are musicians, but they're very into music, I guess, as it were. My oldest sister followed Fish. I don't know if you know the band Fish, but her and her husband were huge Fish fans and followed them. And my brother, when I was a kid, was a manager of a local band called TTB, which was Tobacco Trailer Blues. And they were a southern rock band, and they toured up and down the East Coast. But he was really into festivals, and definitely was like feeding me CDs as a child of good bands. He was really into like the Strokes and Old Crow Medicine Show and all that stuff. So music was like surrounding me, I guess.
Do you have ancestors that played music?
I don't really know. So my uncle is a guitar player, and he always sang a lot of old country songs like Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash, and he would do a lot of like Carter family songs. Actually, he taught me Wildwood Flower when I was a kid, and stuff like that. So he was definitely a musician, but as far as the rest of the family, I don't really know. I know that my grandfather, my dad's father, was from Texas, and he was really into music. He was really into two-stepping. He would go out dancing like 4 or 5 times a week up into his 80s.
Wow.
Which is crazy, but he would follow like two-step people out to Branson, Missouri. There was a big thing, and he would go out through Texas and back in his RV, and that was kind of his retirement. But yeah, I don't really know. I know that part of my mom's family was actually from West Virginia, so they were like mountain folks, but I don't know if any of them were musicians or not.
Did you learn to play guitar at a young age?
I did. I grew up playing viola, actually. When I was a child, I was really into that. I remember going to the auditorium, and they, line all the kids up and say, this is whatever, you're gonna play this instrument, or here's this instrument. And the viola came out, and it was like this deep, dark, just like mellow minor key thing. And I was like, that's me, like, I want to play the weird minor key stuff. So I played that. I got a guitar, I guess when I was like 12 or 13, and just started strumming and playing, and yeah, so I've just been playing since I was a kid.
You said on your Facebook page, or your web page, I read, that you grew up listening to 60s folk bands.
Yes.
Singing in choir in church.
Yep.
Is that where you got your style inspiration for your music?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like music is such a subconscious thing, right? Like, it's kind of all around us, and we soak it in and absorb it. But when I was in high school, I definitely got really into like the 1960s, like folk revival stuff, of course, like Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell and all of those things. But even people that were less well known, like Karen Dalton and Ramblin' Jack Elliott, trying to think of who else. Just all sorts of people. The name Momma Molasses comes from a Greenwich Village folkie named Michael Hurley. It was a lyric from his song Odetta. I love Odetta. Buffy St. Marie. I don't know if you've ever heard of Buffy St. Marie, but she was from Canada. She was Native American, and she kind of got like blacklisted from radio, but she was just an incredible voice, like super powerful, very passionate. I got really into her music. Pete Seeger was really my parents are big Pete Seeger fans, so they grew up in the 60s. They grew up through civil rights and all of that, and that was a very big deal in our household and stuff, because they believed in that. My dad went to college in DC in 1969 and went through all that. My uncle went to Vietnam, and so I was raised, when I was a kid, my mom used to sing me to sleep to a song, Where Have All the Flowers Gone, which was a song written in the Civil War, but Pete Seeger performed it a lot, and it's kind of like a protest song about war. And I remember one of the first songs I ever knew all the words to was If I Had a Hammer. Do you know that song? I've
heard of it, but I've never heard it.
It's an old, it's probably older than the 1960s, but they used it in a lot of the, protests and things that happened during that time. And so that was kind of, I delved into my parents' old record collection and found all these things. I was really into that, especially the folk aspect of it. I was really into Donovan, who did a lot of like traditional Scottish tunes. So my family is Scottish. They're from the Highlands of Scotland, and moved to Carthage, North Carolina. So that whole Scottish ballad singing has been a big influence on me as well. My uncle used to make me memorize like old Scottish poems and like repeat them to him. So that balladry, whatever aspect. I was also really into Southern rock, as a kid. The first concert I ever remember going to was Skynyrd and the Allman Brothers. Bring me back to when the world was young, before the garden fell. No need for clothes or looking down your nose, back when all was well. I'd greet the day like a newborn baby with a giggle and a smile. I'll have no need for hanging on to this destructive lifestyle. Bring me back, bring me back. I need a second chance. Bring me back, bring me back. You can't know at first glance. They say hindsight is 20/20. Now that I can see, I was meant for a different century when a soul could be free. I went out to the old graveyard up near Yanceyville. Saw the church my great-grandpa built. It's set up on the hill. Some people say he was a simple man. He liked working in the dirt. But I wish that I could live like him, knew the satisfaction of honest work. Bring me back, bring me back. I wanna plow the red dirt clay. Bring me back, living in a natural way. Mama used to tell me stories about that little church, how the people there only use their voices to lift up the word. She said there's freedom in the songs they sang, freedom in the notes that rang beyond this world. Now I'm strumming on these guitar strings, trying to make sense of things. I wanna reach beyond. Bring me back, bring me back. I need some honest grace. Bring me back, bring me back to another time and place. The traffic and the television is all that I can see, and all there is a competition between you and me. I wish that I was genuine, I wish that I was free of the chains that bind me to this time. It ain't where I'm supposed to be. Bring me back, bring me back. I wanna be close to the earth. Bring me back, bring me back. I wanna forget this hurt. They say hindsight is 20/20. Now that I can see, I was meant for a different century when a soul
to be free.
That song I wrote for my family. My great-grandparents were subsistence farmers during the Great Depression and lived through all of that. And my mom used to tell me stories about the life that they lived in Yanceyville, North Carolina, which is sort of on the Virginia border, or it is. And they were primitive Baptists, and my mom would tell me that my great-grandmother had 2 dresses, one for church and one for everything else. So she made everything that they had, all of her clothes and all of those things. And I've just always been interested in understanding how people live that way. And I've always been involved in food and local food type stuff. I went to Warren Wilson College, where they have a farm there and produce a lot of their own food, and that has always been something that has been interesting to me as a millennial, or whatever it is that I am, and feeling sort of the need to go back to the earth and understand what that lifestyle is like and what living that would be like. So it's kind of a nostalgic tune about some pastime that probably isn't as good as the song is making it out to be. But yeah, that's what it's about.
When I was a little bitty girl sitting on my mom's knee, out on the front porch, talking after church, this is what she'd say to me. Honey, you know there's a lot of good a fine-looking man can bring. Diamond rings and happy dreams, and I hope that you have those things. When you hear the wedding bell chime, I hope you take my advice. 'Cause many a man has a promise in hand, and many a more has lied. So when his eyes turn red and you're thinking in your head, he's a whole lot bigger than me. Remember, my girl, there's just one thing every woman needs. That's a well, clean, title, fine, working, highway burning automobile. Get a C-A-R, baby, in your name. Get a C-A-R, there ain't no shame. Get a C-A-R in your name. And when it throws a punch, you'll be popping up the clutch. Ooh. Now I'm a grown lady, soon expecting a baby. I got me a 9-3-5. But the man that I married, he tried to dare me with a feast and a jury trial. But when I heard him coming, I got that more running. You know, I keep that engine clean. Over 1,000 miles or more, and that's the last time a man laid his hands on me. 'Cause I keep a well, clean, title, fine, working, highway burning automobile. Get a C-A-R, baby, in your name. Get a C-A-R, there ain't no shame. Get a C-A-R in your name. When it throws a punch, you'll be popping up the clutch. Ooh. 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 you'll be popping up the clutch.
And you have one CD out, right?
I do.
And you have an EP out as well?
So I have an EP. I have an album and an EP out. The EP was kind of the first project to get me going. And I've never physically printed it. It's just online.
Okay.
So folks can listen to that if they want to. And it was really when I was first beginning, didn't know what I was doing. Part of it's like indie, part of it's like Americana. I don't know where I was going with that. And then the album, I got to record down in Moore County, North Carolina, where I'm from. And my friend James Vallone, who's an excellent guitarist and songwriter and producer, produced it for me. And we recorded it. We did kind of like live tracking, if you're familiar with that process, but in a studio there in Southern Pines that is in a guitar shop. It's a really awesome guitar shop. It's called Casino Guitars. It's probably one of the coolest guitar shops I've ever seen. They got a lot of Fender customs and neat stuff. So it's just kind of this cool thing that this guitar shop opened and we have this space. My best friend from high school, Joel Case, played percussion with us. And my other best friend, Ashley Wright, sang vocal harmonies. So it was really just like a culmination of friends getting together in this studio, kind of trying to make something. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun and a neat experience. So hopefully I'll record more and put more out there.
And are you currently writing new material?
So I've been writing a lot of new material recently, and I've been playing a lot of shows all through, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, whatever. Lots of craft beer breweries, as we were talking about. I love the brew scene in my fancy beer, but I recently have been writing a bunch and recording up in Abingdon. There is a studio that just moved here called Big Tone Records, and they are from California, but the owner, John Atkinson, his family's actually originally from Abingdon, and they have one of the largest collections, just so happened, manifested or whatever, of vintage RCA equipment in the country, which is all the equipment they used in the 30s and 40s to record. So it's all tube, analog. I don't really understand all of it, but they've had to lube the tubes when I've been there. But they're actually getting ready to move to Bristol. They have a new space that's standalone, and they do a lot of roots music and old blues, really, really cool stuff. So I'm excited that I have met up with them and been recording, and hopefully we produce something that comes out sometime, maybe even this year.
Wow, looking forward to it.
Yeah, something.
You playing that rhythm and roots this year?
No. I wish I was. Maybe someday.
Maybe one day get you to busking on the street.
I may busk. I'll definitely be at Buskers Fest in Abingdon. And I may busk at Rhythm and Roots, so maybe someday. But I'm new to this area too, so I'm still just kind of putting out the feelers and roots and seeing what's going on around here. But I'm super excited to be here, and I feel like I'm in the right place, and I'm very inspired by, the scene of Americana and roots music, especially in Bristol and the surrounding area.
Very lucky to have you here.
Oh, that's so nice.
half a life in vain. Ain't trying to get forgiven, just trying to stay sane. And the hours will surround me when I'm out there in the cold. I'm alright with moving on, dear, alright with getting old. Take me to the country, take me to the town, take me just about any place, learn how to get around. Take me to the city, put me out on the street, lumber around like a big old dog, find something good to eat. Half of me is waiting, the other half is gone. Ain't trying to be a hero, babe, just trying to write a song. And the songs, they will surround me when there's nowhere else to turn. I'm alright with being lonely, I'm alright with getting burned. Take me to the country, take me to the town, take me just about any place, learn how to get around. Take me to the city, put me out on the street. I wander around like a stubborn mule, but I'll find just what I need. There ain't no getting along with you, don't matter what I try to do. There ain't nothing that feels right, except for singing the song on a Saturday night. Half of me is screaming, the other half is dead. Ain't trying to be a martyr, babe, just trying to get to bed. And the dreams, they will surround me and show me who I am. I'm alright with being a stranger, honey, at least I know